Good morning, welcome to the Budapest Speed Shop. Today we're going to do a little road trip. We're going to Washington D.C. and we're going to take my little Trabant. It's a very nicely restored example. And believe it or not, but there are other crazy people in this country who like these cars. So there's a car show which dedicated to the East German vehicles, more specifically to Trabants. So we're going to take a little Trabant to the Washington D.C. Spy Museum, Trabant car show. It's even hard to even say these words together. Yeah. So I have a lot of cars. Some of them are have fins on them, and then some like all kind of stuff from here, from this country. But I also have, since my heritage, I have some of these nice piece of works. Some people saying that these are the worst cars ever made, but I would disagree. When I was young, we used them a lot, and then they were fairly reliable. And even now, I have to work on other cars all the time, but this one always just starts and runs. There's nothing wrong with it. Usually the Wartburg is the one that always breaks, but nonetheless, we're gonna tow it with my almost vintage F-150, what someone gave me as a present because the engine seized. So I fixed it, and since then it's just a good vehicle. So nonetheless, let's hit the road. It was a short 8-hour drive from Kentucky to Washington, D.C. Actually, we came to Alexandria. This is the hotel where we usually stay because they let us actually park in the parking lot. Here's another very interesting car. It's actually a real old Trabi, which was changed to be a newer Trabi. Sometimes the East Germans actually bought cars back and they refurbished them to make them look newer. But this one is a really old one. They just dressed up like a newer car. Unfortunately, the hotel is charging $10 per car to park here, so I parked mine back on the trailer. So now here is the day of the show. Let's go look around the parking lot. There's always something interesting what you can see here. Ooh, there's a nice green one with the old bumpers and some skis on the top of it. Ooh, and there is a Zhiguli. This one is a Russian car, and this one had a lot larger engine than the first ones. The first ones had a 1200cc engines. This one has a four-cylinder, still a four-cylinder, but this was the larger Zhiguli. This was going pretty fast for Eastern standards, and this is a pedal car in there. That pedal car is made out of metal, and it represents a Moskvich. Moskvich was also a Russian car. They got really pricey nowadays. I see one on eBay for $3,500, that little pedal car in it. So I never seen a Zhiguli or a Lada with white wall tires. I mean, I think that's a little bit too much, but hell, it's a really nice car. It looks very nice. Well, we're gonna take the Trabi off and let's head over to the place of the show. So this is Alexandria, and we're following everyone. We're going in a row and head over to the Spy Museum. This show is held every fall, the same day when the Berlin Wall actually fall. Well, actually, the Berlin Wall didn't fall that day. They just opened it up. There was a huge press conference in East Germany, and one of the Western, I think it was an American journalist, basically asked back because the East German official said that, okay, so now the East German citizens will be allowed to cross the border to the west part. And then somebody asked back, hey, when is that gonna happen? And then they says, well, immediately. So everybody just like, what? They just opened up the borders, and everybody was going across with these little cars, and there was like a lot of things happened, and that's when it's all started. But it was so many years ago, and you still can see the difference between East Germany and West Germany. So now we're going across the Potomac River, and you're gonna see some really nice landmarks, and then we're gonna be at that Spy Museum very soon. When they made these Trabants, most of the production was exported, and you really had to wait probably 18 years in East Germany, 5 or 6 years in Hungary to get one. So my grandparents always took delivery of the new Trabant, then they paid for the next one. So by the time the 5-year passes, they would have the car. So that trickled down to my dad and consequently to me. So that's why I really like these vehicles. The outer panels were made out of material developed by East Germans called Duraplast, and it was a very durable material. Oh, stop. This is a Polski Fiat. It just arrived from Florida because somebody just bought it. But this is not a Fiat. It's actually a Polski Fiat. So we made it to the Spy Museum. My son was driving, and yeah, we're still shaking a little bit, but that's all right. There are some other cars here other than Trabants too. There's the Jiguli, what you're seeing on the front, or Lada. And then there is a West German car with a 2-stroke engine, which very similar to a Wartburg, but actually they are not the same. And then there is a small Polski Fiat, which was a copy of a original Italian Fiat, but the Polish were making it. Yeah, you can see it's right there. It seldom starts. You gotta wind it up, you're going pretty far with it. More cars are arriving with some really stylish way. A nice Ford van. I can't believe my friend just showed up from Canada. I haven't seen him for at least 15 years, so I'm really excited. He used to build airplanes in Canada. Now he has a scooter shop.
So my name is JF from Jean-Francois, to be more precise, in Montreal. I'm from Canada. And this is my IWL Berlin, a 1960 scooter made in the East Germany, in the DDR. Yeah. So I imported that bike recently from, actually, the bike is from, I believe it's somewhere near Magdeburg. And yeah, I imported recently from Berlin, actually, because a friend of mine, we traded with a Vespa scooter. No, actually a Lambretta scooter. And yeah, so it's all original. It came with the original paperwork from the GDR, and it's all original, never repainted except the white. The white was repainted, and it was supposed to be all green like that. And somehow the first owner had the white repainted on it, over it, and there's a marking on the title saying that the bike was repainted with a stamp from the DDR. It's really interesting. So it's all original. It's running perfectly, and I came from Montreal in a van, not driving it, but it's riding. It's driving perfectly. Yeah. So if you go closer, yeah. So this is the choke, and it's and I still have a hard time to understand why it works, because it's that's the normal position. So it pulls the cable on the throttle. So if the cable fails, then it goes on the choke. So it's not good. You have the flasher here. Interesting fact: that bike never came with flashers, with turn signals. So I have another thing on the title saying that he imported from West Germany, though. So I don't know how he got that. Maybe from a cousin or something. But the indicators are made by Hella, and Hella is a West German company. So that thing was added, and on the title it says that it has an import indicator or blanker system. And so this is a Berlin. It's the third model made by the company IWL. And the interesting fact is the IWL before that was Mercedes-Benz. Okay, was Daimler-Benz, and they were building the DB601, the engine on the Messerschmitt 109. Okay, so then the Russian took it went into the Russian zone, and when the DDR was formed, they started to make scooters at that assembly plant. And after that, when in 1965, the government on the 5 years plan, they changed it from scooters to trucks. So they made the IFA IWL trucks there. It's the same company. And when the Berlin Wall came down, Mercedes reclaimed the assembly plant, and now they do the Sprinter van there.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's the same company.
Would you start it up and just let us hear it?
Yeah. I need to open the valve.
What is that? There's a fuel valve?
Yeah, it's a fuel valve. I have a tickler that I can use, but I don't know if it's gonna be fine. Well, yeah, I probably need a bit of choke. And no. So I will use the tickler. A little bit of throttle. Yeah, that's it. So I installed an electronic ignition, a 12-volt system on this thing. So it works better like that. Want to try it? No? You can.
You can. Can you make a circle? Don't need any help.
Yeah, sure. I'll just shut off the valve. That's it.
Merci. So now everybody went up to the second floor and drinking coffee because it's really freezing here. So here's a Lada. It's a Lada 1500. Looks in a very nice shape. I never seen one with the white beauty rings on it. That's some, I guess it's an addition. But this was a really high performance Russian car when I was growing up. I had a friend whose dad had one, and then we kind of stole it one time. And it was going 140 kilometers per hour in third gear. That car was in a really good shape and almost new. And we never told the dad that we actually done that. But this is not an East German car, obviously. It's a Russian car. There are quite a few of these in Cuba and other parts of Eastern Europe. And here's this Berlin scooter my friend just brought from Montreal. This is our Trabant. And this car is it's got all kind of stuff in it what we can digest. Like these seats are definitely not original. They are a lot larger than the seat. There's a Lufthansa part in it. And then newer aftermarket steering wheel. Some sort of roof rack with skis on the top. And then in the back you can see all kind of rice pass and other stuff. There is another Trabant. It has a Hungarian sticker on it. Maybe it just came from Hungary. You can see the seat cushion is a little bit broken. These seat cushions usually start breaking actually over here on this side, and they last about 50,000 kilometers. And then the whole car usually lasts about 80,000 kilometers without you have to start doing stuff with it. When I was growing up, we had a lot of these cars in the family. This one looks like an older version. So if you see the lights, let's see. This one is kind of flat, and it's got the H4 in it. And this one is round. So usually the 6-volt cars came with the round lights. Those are the older ones. This one looks like a quite an old one, looking at the seats and other parts. Got lots of patina in it. It has the old sign on it, which was made out of aluminum, and also the old aluminum trunk lid pusher, I guess. These 3-piece bumpers came in chromed version. Those are really pricey nowadays in Germany. And it looks like it has the original hubcaps. This is the original door handle for the older versions. So this looks like a very nice older car. You can see the burgundy color or reddish color seat upholstery. So this one is really an older version, and you can see the dash. Ooh, the dash is the old car too. You seldom see that because most of the cars have the newer versions.
Hi, I'm Amanda Olke. I'm the Director of Adult Education at the International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C. And we are having our 18th annual Parade of Trabants this morning to commemorate the fall of the Berlin Wall. And it's very exciting because we're getting to do it on the actual anniversary this year. We have about 12 cars here already. Sometimes we have over 20 as the day unfolds. And we even let other types of Cold War cars attend. But it's a beloved celebration here at the Spy Museum. We also have a German band that will play later. And we're going to have some artifacts on display from a private collector. And kids will get a chance to do graffiti inspired by graffiti from the Berlin Wall. And we'll make our own little Berlin Wall and then drive through it.
This one looks like matte with something on the front, missing parts on the side. And that's the new dash with a flow gauge in the middle and the 4-stroke Trabant steering wheel. Those are the late model steering wheels, and looks like there is a wind up accessory, so if you go too far you're gonna have to wind it up. The license plate is funny, it says Blue Smoke. This next one I really like. It's actually a really old Trabi, but it's dressed up that look like a newer version. If you look at the let's do a fight with the cameras. Camera fight.
I got one more. I'll fight you.
Yeah, I like this one. It looks like an older Trabi, but they ended up some new parts on it. But dad and son bought it, and then they're having a lot of fun with this car. These are some very scary tall flag holders, but looks like it's very securely parked on it. Trabi has the original East German license plate on the front. I wish they wouldn't have that Massachusetts plate on it. And then I got the really strange looking green roof. That's actually an original color usually. And then a lot of chrome accessories on it. I love the contents of the roof rack. The roof rack usually a longer roof rack for the station wagons, but that was the standard roof rack what you can buy. This one looks like a plain Jane, kind of barely washed on the top. This is how you see. This is a very, very original looking. Look at the steering wheel. It's a very original looking car. Basically, that's how you see them most of the time when I was growing up. Barely washed, faded. So this looks very original condition to me. And then here's an old 500 in fairly poor shape. With a first look, it's like somebody painted it very orange. I'm not sure why. And the inside is kind of worn out, but at least it's the older version Trabant. It's not the first one, but the older version. I love that door on it. Like it looks like a Frigidaire door on the back, and it's open sideways if you open it. And every one of these Trabis have a faded taillight. Really hard to come by. Now this one is a West German car. It's basically an auto union, and it has a 2-stroke 3-cylinder water-cooled engine. So if you see the 4 rings in the front, so it says auto union. So it was Audi, DK5, Horsch and Wanderer. So after the war they cut it in the middle, and basically Auto Union retained the western part, and then Horsch and Wanderer went to East Germany, and then Audi and DKW or DK5 went to West Germany, and basically one had the Trabant and the Wartburg grown out of it, and then Audi came out of it, and that's where the four rings came from. Actually, the Olympic Games were the original one in 1936, I believe. That's where the four rings came from. When they went together, that's where they got the idea from. But it's history, I guess. Very nice to see this car here. And then, of course, it just actually came from Florida, that trailer. A little rusted, but it's still a little strange scene over here. There's a lot of them in Europe when I was growing up. This is inside the museum, a real James Bond Aston Martin. If you ever come to Washington D.C., make it to a point to come to the Spy Museum. Just leave at least like 2 or 3 hours to visit the museum. It's have a all kind of depth, so make sure you come and visit them. It's a lot of fun. You can become a real spy, and there's all kind of games you can play inside, and it's a very interactive museum. It's not just you show up and look around and read stuff. You actually have to do stuff. It's really awesome. Every year we pretend we break through the wall, and this year is my son who can actually go through the wall, so he's super excited. He got his driver's license using this vehicle at the DMV. There you go, you can turn it up. When first time they built the wall, we was able to go through with a truck, but later on they made it to an L shape, so they wouldn't be able to. By the time the truck hit it, the front wheels of that truck was on the wall itself, so it was impossible to break through the wall even with a truck. Someone bought a Simpson Schwalbe with a diplomatic license plate. So I got one of these at home, sitting up on my shelf because I'm scared to use it. But that's pretty cool. There's a very original lot that just showed up. All these overriders. It's got a 1200cc engine in the front, and looks like it's a leftover car. Looks like they didn't really touch it too much. It's a very original condition. Looks like it's the original paint too, I assume. Original Russian license plate on it. And what I couldn't believe it that it even has the original tires. So before we look at the tire, we're gonna look inside. It's a very nice shifter knob. And then we come over here, I can show you guys the original tires. It's made in USSR, and that's how it's supposed to look like. It's got quite a few cracks on it, but the whole car is, I think it's a 1973 maybe. Looks like very cool. This one is beautiful, as far as a Zhiguli could be. And then there's a 1500, it's slightly lowered. Maybe it has some air springs in it because it wasn't lowered earlier. All right, you will show me that. How far are you going?
I forgot the switch. What's up? Oh God, I look stupid now. stage fright. Switch up. It's your fault. I was having too much fun watching.
Most of the Trabants you've seen today, they were the 600 or 601s. This one is the 500 and a station wagon from all. Yeah, it is a station wagon. I totally missed this Unimog. This has not much to do with East Germany, pretty much just Germany altogether, but it's a huge military vehicle. It's very strange to see one over here, most especially very strange to see one in Washington D.C. But I guess it's time to go, everybody's packing up. Now it's a beautiful evening. We're heading across the Potomac River again and heading over to Alexandria to meet with the rest of the group in a brewery house or brew house and have some dinner. I'm not really a beer drinker, but Washington D.C. is really super nice to visit almost any time of the year. In wintertime it gets a little cold, summertime it gets a little hot, but I think right now this is just the perfect time to visit. There's all kind of things to see. I highly recommend to come over and check out the sites one day. Well, good thing about driving a small car that you can find a parking spot pretty much anywhere. I'm a little bit scared to leave the car behind because there's all kind of cars coming and going, and I hope nobody gonna scratch the thing because it was a lot of money to paint it, and it's already scratched up a couple places with the boxes, but I'll go to polish it out. Now we're gonna walk around a little bit, came a little early, and then join our friends in the beer garden. It looks like a really beautiful place. I know some of you watching this show from the other side of the world. Now this is a Humvee or Hummer or Humvee, or I don't know what to call it. Yeah, this is a limousine, very American style. Some girls ride with it and then they are going to party. And you're not supposed to park here, but I guess if you drive one of these, then you can stop anywhere. So we ended up in the beer garden, so all these guys have Trabants and stuff, so now we just finish having dinner and some beer, and then we're gonna head home. Thanks for watching it, and see you guys next Friday with something else. Bye.